Welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David. Well, George Santos is back in the news. Been a while, haven't we missed him? I suppose he's discovered a cure for cancer while single-handedly piloting a rocket ship to the nearest asteroid to take samples to send back to NASA, and then, maybe put a saddle on the Horsehead Nebula and ride it for 10 seconds. Sorry. His ex-campaign treasurer, Nancy Marks, pled guilty today. That's not good for him. What's the guilty plea on? Nancy Marks appears to have intimate knowledge of thousands of dollars that flowed in and out of Santos's account. She pleaded guilty to one count of conspiracy to commit offenses against the United States, including wire fraud, falsifying records, and identity theft. In pleading guilty to the criminal information, she admitted that she and Santos had added non-existent donations from his friends and family in order to falsely inflate the campaign fundraising totals to qualify for help from the Republican National Party. Now, I had read this story in another one. The basic background is, if you want the Republican National Party to help you, you have to show that you have the ability to fundraise. And they had a threshold of $250,000. So what they did was they lied. They said they had raised $500,000, and it was raised from family members and donors, and he loaned himself the money to show that he could raise finances, and that qualified him for money from the Republican National Party, which is how he ended up funding his campaign. But here's a great twist. If you, quote unquote, loan yourself $500,000, it means you can pay yourself back that money from campaign finances. So, why is that on? Sorry, I had an article. I had something on here that was supposed to be muted. Anyways, if you borrowed money, you can pay yourself back, which means that he basically set himself up to take $500,000 from his campaign finances and fund himself. This is the guy who had a $50,000 a year job and no savings account, suddenly having $500,000 to lend to himself. Fraud all over it. But now here's a problem, and it's not been reported if this woman took a plea deal with the government and is going to turn state's witness on him. She'd be smart if she did. But even if she didn't, the fact that she's pleaded guilty to basically defrauding the government, it's going to go right over to him, too. This is not good for him. So, all right, George. After you've done taming the Horsehead Nebula and then become the first person to walk through a black hole and come back to the United States and get back to Congress all on your lunch break, what's the situation around this pleading? Okay, my deck is indeed upside down. I think she's going into a plea agreement. She went into, even though they haven't reported it, she's gone into a plea agreement with the government, and it's about Santos and the money that he took from donors and the fraud behind the finances in his campaign. Underneath it all, yep, there's the Justice card. So, yeah, she's working with the Justice Department with regard to the fraud that the two of them perpetuated. In the past, we had the Five of Swords. Part of this is Santos's mindset that it doesn't matter what you do, the ends justify the means. So we can lie, we can cheat, we can steal. If we get elected, it's all fair and good. All those people donated money for me to get elected. It doesn't matter that we lied up front. We got elected. That was the important part. This could also be the government put it out to her. You know what? You can turn state's evidence, or we are going to just hammer you with this. Your choice, one way or another. Current situation is the victory card. It's a victory for the government because they've got her pleading guilty to these charges. on the low energy, Santos is all about look at me. But I think this is just, I'll take it this way. This is a victory for the government in getting this plea deal because it's going to solidify an already good case against him. Overarching is the emperor. Well, that's interesting, right? He was protected by McCarthy, but we don't know who the new House Speaker is. And is the new House Speaker going to protect this clown or not? And even if the new Speaker does or doesn't, I mean, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't even know who the new Speaker is. Rest assured that the New York Department of Justice is going after this guy. And they're going to go after him hard. He's going to pay for what he's done. The overarching situation here, the overall energy, I should say the lesson to be learned. This is the overarching energy. The lesson to be learned is the Seven of Wands, fighting from a position of advantage, an advantage position. The government, by getting this guilty plea, making whatever deals they have, they've solidified their advantage because now they've got court cases that have shown a conviction for fraud. You can't argue that there was no fraud there because they've got convictions showing the fraud, showing the conspiracy, and he's one of the people in the conspiracy. This isn't going to go well for Mr. Santos. They are going to just sit on him. The Attorney General and the state courts in New York. I don't know if this is a federal case. Yeah, I guess it's a federal case. So I backed that off. The federal Department of Justice, they're on it, and they're on it, and they're on it. Outcome is the Queen of Cups. They will probably go into negotiations with him as well. This could also be negotiations with Santos at this point. I'm going to read that with that one too. They're keeping something under wraps here. And that's what just led me to this. Okay, what if now that they've got this thing, they now start negotiating with Santos for his plea? In the past, you've got the Five of Swords. It was going to be an all or nothing case. They had a really strong case to begin with, but now they'll negotiate with him for guilty plea, so they don't have to go to court. They get their victory. He's going to do time. He's not going to get. He's not going to get a slap on the wrist. They will hold him to that. This is probably Santos's best call. It's going to be his way to minimize things, but they will keep these discussions under wraps for a while until things have sorted themselves out. But again, justice is central, is the underlying thing here. George Santos will be brought to justice in this situation. His time is run out. Now, I guess the question that we want to know is, and we can do a challenge on this one because I'm just having fun with these 4-card challenges. Let's do a challenge of who's going to get to him first. Is it going to be the Department of Justice that gets to him? Or, actually, this would be a 3-way, huh? I have to get my small deck out. I'm curious if, how is this all going to play out? It's going to be a longer video than I thought. It's hard to do a 3-way with these cards. They're too big. Okay, so DOJ could be one. He's arrested. But, even if he's arrested, well, maybe part of the plea is that he resigns. Okay. Then it could be the Republicans come in and tell him to resign, or he doesn't resign at all, and then he just has to go through a primary, in which case he's not going to win. So there's 3 different things, 3 potential outcomes. Oh, can I do it? Let's do it. Let's see if I can do it. It's going to be difficult because there's just not enough room. But we'll fiddle around with the cameras. Okay, what's going to be Santos's future with this? Okay, so what we get is the 9 of Swords. His future's not bright. Whatever it is, brightness is not amongst the things that is in his future. It's a nightmare scenario. Basically, if he wants to hold on to that position, be reelected, that's not happening. That's what the message of this card is. His scenario, he's got no good options. And some options are going to be worse than others, but he's got no good options. Department of Justice. If the DOJ gets to him, what's it going to be? They're going to send him to prison. Get ready. You're going to prison whether you like it or not. And it's all about, and what's driving this, funnily enough, is he ripped off wealthy people. You don't rip off wealthy people. Bernie Madoff would have been the first person. Word of warning, don't rip off wealthy people. This is about his campaign finance and all the fraud that's going on there. It would be a victory for the Department of Justice. They brought this guy down, and I'm seeing 3 and 3, so expect that he's going to get like 36 months sentence, something along those lines. And the 8 of Wands. If they go after him, it's going to be they would indict him. He's already been indicted. It's going to be a quick case. If he settles with them, that's fine. He's going to pay a big fine. He's going to be incarcerated, and it's going to happen really fast. So that's what happens if he cuts his deal with the Fed. Would there be a resignation in here? There's fast action. It wouldn't surprise me if they would have him resign, because you've got this as well. So that's what happens if the DOJ gets him. All right. So what happens if the Republican, let's say, the new House Speaker gets in and decides they don't want him? How is that going to, they're going to tell him to leave. You're out of here. You're McCarthy's little pet project, not mine. We don't want you here. Bye-bye. You are, again, you ripped off our donors. You're crooked as the day is long, and you're an embarrassment. You're not something we value. You're an absolute embarrassment. Yeah, we value your vote, but the Republican Party is so fractured right now. Does it really matter if they've got a 5-vote majority or a 4-vote majority? It doesn't. They need to unite, and if they can't unite, this guy's not worth anything. Oh, he's costing them money. He's costing them money. He's costing them effort. He doesn't contribute anything to the Republican cause. Marjorie Taylor Greene, Matt Gaetz, they can at least fundraise, but this guy does nothing. He's a parasite. He's a leech. He just sucks the money from them. And then, they're going to just toss him out. They'll cut off his funding, and they'll kick him off his committees, and just tell him to take a hike. He's out of here. Okay, so what happens if the DOJ doesn't prosecute him before the elections? What happens if the GOP doesn't kick him out before the elections? What happens? We have the Knight of Swords. There's going to be swift change. He's going to get primaried here. I probably not have to go any further than the primaries. We have the Knight of Swords. I think the GOP reacts swiftly with a stronger candidate. Yep, they're going to have Ace of Swords. It's going to be a candidate who's going to be kind of like a anti-corruption, truth, justice in the American way type of thing. You can't trust this clown. It's, I'm your new knight in shining armor, and I've got the sword of justice with me. The Empress. Okay, we'll leave the cross-dressing alone here. We won't even go there. I think this guy or woman, whoever takes this place, could be a woman by the Empress on this one. Let's just say it's a woman candidate, a female candidate that's running against him. She's going to come in. She's going to be the champion. She will take care of the district. You don't need this clown doing that. And the Hanged Man, he's a weirdo. He's just a weird person. He wasn't who we were, and they will kick him out. He will be sacrificial to it. Underneath it all is the Strength card. So the Department of Justice has a strong case against him. The GOP should be showing strength by getting rid of him, and if they don't, he gets primaried on the strength of this new candidate and on the weakness of his own actions and his own lies, basically. So, you got George Santos for another year. I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, that's elections will be happening about a year from now, or a year in some change. No, wait, they're every 2 years. No, it's the same thing. It's going to be 2024. So he's been in office for not even quite a year yet. Hell of a year. So who's going to get to him first? The Republicans could get to him first if they want to. And there it looks like there is some desire to do so. Yeah, not good for him. Anyways, thank you for watching this video and supporting my channel. I appreciate it. Thank you for your likes, your shares, and your comments and everything you do to feed the YouTube algorithm so that my videos make it out to new viewers. And to those new viewers, welcome to the channel. I hope you found this insightful and mildly entertaining. And I'll catch you on the next video. Take care.